Salutations all. So are you or someone that you care for living with crabs? It's gross. And that's not my business. But today's adventure is, let's get into it. Alright, so let's talk about our mise en place, right? Our executionable tools that we're going to need to make this dish happen. Obviously we're going to need some crab, that's number one, right off top. You can find this in a variation of ways. You've got back fin, you've got lump crab, which is the more prized. There's the big white chunks of crab. You can also find claw meat as well. What you can't find is things that aren't crab that taste like crab. So for all of my vegetarians, all my vegans out there, you can season jackfruit with as much Old Bay as you damn well please, and it will never, ever taste like crab. Fake crab doesn't taste like real crab. Okay? We have an understanding. We have an accord. Outstanding. Alright, so you're also going to need your Mirepoix, right? Remember what that is from our soups? A little celery. We're going to dice those down a little bit. We've got some carrot here. Got some onion as well. I'm going to dice up a little jalapeno to throw into mine, give it a little kick. We're also going to make a little sauce. I was thinking about doing a roulade. We've done that, so we're going to keep it even more basic. We're going to get that knocked out. So I'm going to take some mayo with a little garlic and some harissa. Be a nice spicy sauce that we're going to make for that. You're going to need your seasoning, salt, pepper. I'm going to do a little Old Bay as well. Now, a lot of the times you can use breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs will act as an additional binder with the egg, right? So it gives it some body, absorbs those juices. If you've ever been to that dive bar that's got crab cakes on the menu, it's probably more bread than crab, right? So if you're trying to turn a profit, stretch that crab with a little bit of bread. But when you're paying $20 for a crab cake, that's going to be a crab cake that has probably no breading in it at all whatsoever. So if you have gluten-free, need to be gluten-free, or you just want to be super duper fancy, by all means, 86 the breadcrumbs. I just don't have any, so we're just not going to use it. That's my business. What else we have here? We got a little dried cilantro that's also going to go into the sauce. This is something that is super duper easy, right? Now, crab is not the cheapest meat out there. Typically, you go for about $18 to $20 a pound. I think right now the canned crab, even the claw, the back fin is going for like $30. So it's not necessarily the best economical thing. It is super duper delicious, but keep that in mind when you're throwing that party. All right, make everybody kick in at the door. All right, so let's get into chopping all this stuff down. So the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and knock out my dip or my sauce, right? I'm going to use some dry cilantro for this, so I want to give it time to rehydrate and release those flavors. I should have did it last night, but you know, procrastination. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of mayo. Obviously the amount's going to depend on how much you're making. So it's about a quarter cup there, maybe a little over a quarter cup. I'll hit it with a bit of my harissa, good and spicy. Remember, always start small, baby step your way in. You can always add more, we cannot take away, alright? So, I'm going to go on with our dry cilantro. Everybody played at noon today, so the stores were swamped when I went, and I ran out without a lot of things that I probably should have stopped to get, but we learn, we survive. Alright, a little garlic, you know that's my favorite. Notice I did not add any lemon to this. A lot of the times when I make my crab cakes, I'll add a little bit of lemon zest, not the juice. The skin and not the juice. I like the flavor, but not the acid. And because we're going to go more, I guess, in the direction of the southwest, we're not going to put any of the lemon in there either. So there we go. There's that. Alright, now let's move on to our Mirepoix. Alright, first things first, let's go ahead and dice up some of our celery and our onions here. The carrots that I have, forgive me for the noise, the carrots that I have are shredded, so I'll just give them a rough chop. Now the size on your dice is going to depend on the type of texture that you want the veggies to give to your crab cakes, right? I also have a saute pan here on the stove. I like to hit mine in a saute pan. I'm not really trying to cook it all the way through. I just want to release some of those juices, as well as soften the veg just a hair. Just a hair. Some of the small dice there. Tucking the fingers, tucking the fingers. Now, if you want to be super on point, they do make these little metal rulers that have the various cuts, culinary terms on them, and the cuts, your brunoise versus the small dice, a bâtonnet versus julienne. We like to call our French fries julienne, and that's actually not what they are. You can get one of those and really practice. I have worked at places where the chef will come up and measure your dice and tell you you're a loser because you couldn't get it small enough. Good on that. Let's get our onion as well. Easy peasy. Also keep in mind, once you've got your crab cakes built, you can save them for another day. Can freeze them. So you can make a lot ahead of time if you're having a big gathering. And then set them aside in the freezer. You whip them out, let them thaw completely. Pull them out, put them in your refrigerator overnight, a day ahead or so that they will thaw thoroughly through the middle. This piece there. All right, onion. Now our carrot. Like I said, the carrots are shredded, so we don't really need to go crazy chopping them down. Alright, let's get these into the saute pan. We're going to sweat these a little bit. Alright, good and warm there. Not putting any oil into the pan. We're going to let the natural juices of our veg do their thing. If you remember, if you've hung out with us before, you'll remember the difference between sweating and caramelization, right? If we caramelize, we let them basically sit there until they begin to burn. The natural sugars will begin to burn. That gives you that delicious golden color on your veggies. And when we sweat, we're basically going to let them steam themselves in the pan. So we're going to give it a second to start releasing those juices, and then we'll start stirring it around a little bit to release those juices. Then we'll get into building our crab cakes. Just want to soften them a little bit. Get the big chunks out of there. Poor knifemanship. And you can also, mix it up too, as far as your crab, for different consistency, different textures, if you will. You can do a little back fan, a little lump. You can really mix it up. You gotta do what you gotta do. Make really nice large crab cakes as an entree. Maybe throw it on top of a salad, but a nice greens. I've tried the sandwiches with it. Not a fan personally. It's a weird texture for me. Alright, we're going to give that another 75 seconds or so. Yep, doing weird numbers today. 75 seconds. Then we're going to turn the heat off and allow that to cool. We're going to leave it right there in the pan. Because remember, the pan is still nice and hot or warm, right? It's still going to continue to heat those veggies through. So as we go through our crab, then we'll allow them to cool slowly. Sorry, losing y'all there. Alright. Let's pick through this crab. Alright. Not really sure why I chose the largest bowl in the house. Guess I'm overcompensating. Alright, so we're going to go in with our crab meat. I've got a little claw meat there. So it's pretty small little chunks of crab. But you want to just delicately go through the meat, right? Because every now and then you'll find little pieces of shell, just little shavings of it. You know, we know how hard the kind of work you got to put in to get this meat out of there. So it behooves you to just go through it a touch. All right, easy peasy, good. All right. So while you were away, I went ahead and small diced some of my jalapeno. I did not want to saute that. I didn't want to release those. I want you to just get little bites of it within the crab cake itself. So we're going with that. I'm going to go on with some of our Mirepoix. Okay. Next, we're going to hit it with a little Old Bay. Now, this is 1 pound of crab meat that we have here. That's typically how it's sold. Sometimes you have the little plastic containers. I'm not really sure how much is in that, but the cans are typically 1 pound. All right, so we're going to do 1 solid tablespoon of Old Bay. I'm going to do about 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and about 1/2 tablespoon of kosher salt. Now you notice I have not added the egg yet, right? Right, so let's get this mixed up. The reason I haven't added the egg is because I need to taste it. I need to see where our seasoning is at, and I don't want to have to put raw egg in my mouth if I can avoid it. Alright, let's see where we're at. Spot on, baby. Spot on. Alright. Now, because I'm not using the breadcrumbs, I'm going to go with 2 eggs. Okay? Because my binder is going to help keep this bad boy together without me having to smush the crud out of it. So. I'm trying my best not to mash that meat up too much. Just combing the fingers through to get it all mixed up. Now, if you can allow this to sit, put it back in the fridge for about an hour or so, really let that seasoning get in there, then by all means, please do. But we're going to go ahead and shape these bad boys and make some crab cakes. Let's do it. Getting down that home stretch. So, to shape your crab cakes, really do it however you like. I'm going to use a ring mold, kind of tall boy there. And that's just for consistency, just for that consistent shape. I don't have to sit there and fight with it. I pack it down. I want to push, because remember I don't have the breadcrumbs, so I'm pushing out a lot of that extra liquid that might cause it to fall apart. I've also have not put any olive oil down because I'm not using my panko. Normally when I have my panko, I will roll my crab cakes back in that, coat them nice on the outside, extra crispy, and brown that off in the olive oil. So I'm going to set that bad boy down like that. Let me go make another. Alright, sorry about that. We're going to let that bad boy chill for a minute before we try to flip it. Remember, we don't have any bread in there helping to hold that together, so we want to let that heat do its thing on one side and help that get that egg heated up so it'll start to bind, hold that thing together for us. Okay, comes number 2, get out of there. And we'll roll it on its sides as well. Try to cook it off if it will hold together for me. Now, with the exception of the raw egg that we put into it, you know, the crab out of the can is ready to go. So it really doesn't take very much. We're really just trying to put some color on it typically. But because we've got that egg in there, we want to try to heat that thing through. Okay, got some more here. We might as well throw them on down, right? Right, Max? The supervisor is over my shoulders, breathing down my neck over here. And believe it or not, crab cakes make an outstanding breakfast food. Really good crab cake, some nice crispy bacon, a little hollandaise if you've got it. I'm telling you. That's where it's at. Alright, last one. And what we're looking for, even without the breadcrumbs, we're still looking for that GBD. Golden brown delicious. Can you sense its power? You can tell from the coloration of my little griddle here, it gets used. This is actually my second one. The first one completely fell apart. I think it was about 12 years old, in all fairness. I love this thing. Got an electric skittle. The handle has finally broken off. Let's put in work. They're veterans. Veterans of the game. Alright, we're going to give it another 83 seconds or so on this side, and then we're going to turn it on its side and basically roll it across this bad boy. Once we've done that, just go ahead and plate it up. Alright, let's plate this bad boy. So we're going to go down with a little bit of our sauce. Chad, don't laugh at me. I don't know why I've never been really good at that thing, the swipe. Whatever, no Picasso. Alright. Sorry about the focus on that, y'all. We'll get you a photo up. And because I'm a baby of the 80s, what? Parsley. Duh. That's it. Crab cakes. Crab cakes with a harissa aioli. Easy peasy. So that was it. Crazily easy, right? Super adaptable. Can throw all kinds of stuff in there, give it all kinds of flavors. Classic or way, way out there. Crab cakes. Alright? Have fun with that. The other crabs, see somebody. Over the counter, prescription, I don't know. I've never been down that road and I'm sorry for you. Thanks for coming to this adventure, guys. See you later.